Candice, Charlotte, Vivian, and Li Ting. So first of all, let me bring you through a brief introduction to the campaign and issue. So the Love MacRitchie campaign is initiated by Raffles Museum Toddicats in collaboration with other environmental organizations. And it was a campaign that started in response to the Land Transport Authority's plans to cut the Cross Island Line through the MacRitchie Forest. So currently the LTA has filed a tender to conduct an environmental impact assessment, and they decide on the final Cross Island Line routes by 2016. And the Cross Island Line itself is slated to be completed by 2030. So the main aim of the Love MacRitchie campaign is to, number one, raise awareness of the potential harm which the Cross Island Line will cause to the MacRitchie forest, and number two, garner support for a proposed reroute that avoids cutting through the forest. So the current communications for the campaign include online communications and offline events. So for online channels, there's a Love MacRitchie website where information about the campaign and the online petition is found. So the Love MacRitchie's Facebook page is where news, articles, and pictures about MacRitchie is shared, and currently has a respectable following of more than 2,000 likes, but we believe that this can still be improved. And the Love MacRitchie's music video on YouTube has garnered more than 4,000 views since its release on 14 February. And once again, this is a respectable number, but more can be done to drive traffic over to the video. With regard to events, Love MacRitchie walks are a series of guided tours that takes place 2 to 3 times a month. And these walks are free to the public, and they are led by experienced guides from both Toddicats and other environmental organizations. And participants will learn about the flora and fauna that they see along the way, and we also learn about why protecting the nature reserve is important. The campaign also has a series of free public talks called Forget Not Our Living Forest Talks, and these are led by veteran botanist Joseph Lai, who talks about Singapore's natural biodiversity and why they should be protected. So we move to the problem that the campaign is facing now. So the problem is that there simply aren't enough petition signatures. The last time we checked, the petition signatures stood at 2,500, falling short of the targeted 10,000 signatures since the launch of the campaign in June 2013. So in order to garner more support and petition signatures for the campaign, we've chosen to target a group of youths aged 18 to 26. Why this particular group? Well, because from our secondary research, we found from a study done by NEA in 2010 that 80% of youths felt that they could make a difference in sustaining Singapore's natural environment. And then in a study done by Lin and Longley in 2011, it was found that youths were more likely to report environmentally friendly behavior than their older counterparts. So we did primary research via an online survey with 146 valid entries from our respondents of our target age group. And in our survey, we measured our target audience's knowledge, attitudes, and their behavior. So with regard to their knowledge and attitude, we are interested in measuring their responses on multiple levels. So for example, under knowledge, we have their knowledge about Singapore's environment in general. Then we have their knowledge about the Cross Island Line issue. Then we have their knowledge about the Love MacRitchie campaign itself. So the same principle applies to attitude, but with regards to behavior, we are only interested in their willingness to perform behaviors that directly supported the campaign. So now we move on to our results proper. So with regards to knowledge, we found that respondents had a good understanding of Singapore's environment in general. So for example, most of them understood that natural spaces lost due to urban development cannot be easily replaced. However, we found that issue and campaign awareness was severely lacking. Only 43% had heard about the Cross Island Line issue, and only 11% had heard about the campaign itself. Moving on. With regards to attitude, we're happy to report that they are quite positive across the board. So with regards to the attitudes about Singapore's environment in general, it's quite positive. Most of them felt that the protection of Singapore's natural biodiversity was important. Most of them were also concerned by the Cross Island Line issue. And finally, most of them thought that the campaign's cause was important. With regards to behavior, we measured our respondents' willingness to perform supportive behaviors to the campaign on a 5-point Likert scale. So on this graph over here, all the numbers above 3 would mean a tendency towards agreement, and all the numbers below 3 would mean a tendency towards disagreement. So we found that our respondents were open to performing simple supportive behaviors such as liking and sharing the Facebook page, and also signing the petition itself. However, when it comes to the more complex behaviors or behaviors that require more effort, such as writing to the MP or writing to the LTA, they were much less inclined to do so. So with that in mind, we chose to focus on encouraging the simple supportive behaviors, such as signing the petition. We also asked our target audiences about their media preferences, and most of them ranked the internet and social media as their medium of choice. So in our campaign recommendations, we'll be recommending ways to improve upon the campaign's online and social media presence. So now I'll pass my time over to Candice, who will go over our objectives and tactics.
Alright, now we'll go into detail for the proposed strategy for the campaign. So as Nita just mentioned, the main problem that toy cats actually faces with regards to Love MacRitchie is that there is a lack of awareness and hence a lack of support. So as such, the strategies that we are about to introduce to you will be guided towards the goal of garnering greater support for the our MacRitchie Forest campaign and to instill greater appreciation among our target audience for Singapore's natural biodiversity. Now the goal is further broken down to 3 objectives. The first is to increase awareness of the CRL MacRitchie issue among our target audience to 75%. The second is to increase positive attitudes towards Singapore's natural environment among our target audience to 95%. And the last is to reach 7,500 signatures for the Love Our MacRitchie Forest petition, petition to the LTA. And we aim to achieve all these by June 2015. Okay, after some heated discussion among ourselves and a close examination of the findings, we derived the following key message for the campaign, that is the Central Catchment Nature Reserve, or the CCNR, which includes the MacRitchie Forest, is worth protecting because it is one of Singapore's few remaining green spaces and contains irreplaceable habitats and biodiversity. And this key message will actually be integrated across all the strategies in our campaign. Alright, to give the campaign a recognizable identity, we've also created a logo and a slogan that is in line with the key message that I just mentioned. Okay, I know it seems a little bit simple at first glance, but it actually has a lot of meaning to it, and I'll get to that in just a minute. Okay, the slogan "Keep Our Green Heart Beating," which you see at the bottom of the screen, was selected after a round of message testing and discussion with you, our clients. And we used the words "green heart" to represent the forest, as it quite literally rests in the heart of Singapore. It also is an important lifeline to more than half of Singapore's native biodiversity, similar to how the heart pumps life to the rest of the body. The logo was inspired by the slogan. It depicts a silhouette of Singapore with a heart-shaped leaf outlined in white on its center left. And if you look closely, the veins of the leaf are actually drawn to mimic the veins and arteries of the heart. So the center left position not only indicates the actual location of the forest on the Singapore map, it also represents the location of the heart in the human body. So further signifying that the forest is an important lifeline and is the green heart of Singapore, which is needed to keep our natural heritage alive. Alright, now let's go into strategies and tactics. We have a total of 4 strategies, each addressing at least one of the objectives that I mentioned earlier. Strategy 1 involves educating the target audience on MacRitchie Forest's biodiversity. Now, strategy 1 is actually further split into 2 tactics, and will address objectives 1, 2, and 3. Alright, the Love MacRitchie Roving Forest exhibition is an immersive mobile forest experience, and it will serve 2 purposes. Firstly, it will educate the target audience about the issue, and secondly, we aim to increase appreciation for the local biodiversity through the roving forest. The forest will actually be designed to mimic the experience of visiting the MacRitchie Forest, and so that people who visit the forest can get the feel of MacRitchie Forest without actually having to go all the way down to MacRitchie. So we're talking about simulating sights, scents, smells, and even taste. And it will take place once a week across a period of 9 months, and it will visit 30 educational institutions, specifically polytechnics, ITEs, universities, and junior colleges. And also to encourage immediate action, we also visitors to roving forest are actually encouraged to sign the petition on the spot after they're done experiencing the exhibition. Okay, what you see on screen right now is the rough layout of how the exhibition will look like. So basically it comprises 2 rows of exhibition panels parallel to each other. And and it's actually covered with a canopy, so it's kind of like closed in, so it's kind of dark, like the forest. And the walls will be decorated to give the feel of the forest environment with flora and fauna specimens, as well as infographics and pictures scattered around it, to get the feel of the forest. Okay, this is how it looked like ideally. Yeah, this is Photoshop, by the way. Okay, publicity posters such as these will be displayed at high traffic locations around the school and emailed to students 2 weeks before the roving forest visit their school. The next tactic is the Field Guide app. It will be developed we propose for it to be developed by students from the NES School of Computing, specifically CS 3201 and 2. And it will be available free of charge on the app stores, and the app will be designed to provide a way for people to visit the MacRitchie Forest and learn about it as they go without the need of a guide, because they are as Zita mentioned, there's only 3 times a month, and guides aren't always available, so this app will actually help them learn along the way. Alright, so this is the homepage of the app. Where am I will serve to help the user locate where he or she is in the forest. Browse Wildlife is a database for the known flora and fauna in the forest. It's kind of like a Pokédex for the MacRitchie Forest. And emergency help is just thrown in just in case the visitor is injured or he's lost. Alright, so let's zoom in on the functions. This is how the Browse Wildlife function will look like once you select it, and the user can select which animal or plant that he or she is interested to read up on. Alternatively, the user can use the identify option. Say for example, I see this scaly looking animal on the ground and I want to find out what it is. So I'll use this function, and this function will prompt me to answer a series of questions like, is it a plant or an animal, does it have wings, etc. So it turns out the animal I saw is a pangolin, and I can just click on it and I can read more about it. Okay, the app also has a spotted function where users can take photos of flora and fauna that they see along the way, and they can upload it to the app gallery, and they can also view pictures taken by other visitors of the forest. The trails function allows users to track how far they've walked in the forest, and also provides alternative routes that they can explore after they're done with the route that they just traveled. Lastly, we have the about function, which serves to explain the Love MacRitchie Forest campaign, the issue at hand, and how users can help the issue. Alright, this is a poster for the app, which will be placed around the schools that the Roaring Forest will visit, just to gain publicity for the app. Alright, so that was strategy 1. Now let's look at strategy 2, which involves the engaging of opinion leaders, and it's split into two tactics. The first is a media-exclusive MacRitchie Forest guided tour, and the second, a unique media-exclusive MacRitchie Forest food trail. Now the first walk, which we call the eco-themed walk, will be like the regular ones conducted by Tony Katz. I said that it's media-exclusive, so I won't go into too much detail about that. The second one is the food-themed, and will be more focused on the forest, the edible plants in the forest, especially those that are native and consumed daily in Singapore. Now the walk is designed to attract the attention of lifestyle bloggers, food bloggers, or media members who are looking for a fresh angle to talk about the issue. Yeah, and bloggers and writers who decide to talk about this issue will be encouraged to accompany their articles or blog posts with recipes to pique the interest of their recipes using plants from the MacRitchie Forest to pique the interest of their readers. It is hoped that through the sharing of various interesting aspects of MacRitchie Forest, media attendees will be inclined to talk about the issue and on their various media platforms, creating buzz for Love MacRitchie and raising awareness for the issue. Now on the left is the digital invitation for the general eco-themed walk, while on the right is the media invitation for the food-themed walk. Alright, all members of the media who decide to support the campaign and share information about the cause will be called Green Heart Ambassadors, and they'll be encouraged to display this badge on their blog, for example, to show their support. Alright, now I'll just pass the time to Vivian.
Thank you, Candice. I'll now bring you through the third strategy of our campaign, which is using virality to drive online engagement. And there are two tactics under this strategy, which is a personality quiz that is launched online, as well as a MacRitchie songbirds. So the first tactic of this strategy is to create and launch an online personality quiz, which offers a series of 7 questions with 5 options relating to everyday activities of Singaporeans, such as this, like a situation at a hawker centre during lunch hour. So the options will display different characteristics of the respondents. The results of the quiz will show a native species of animal which can be found in MacRitchie, instead of a type of person as the quiz title actually suggested. So similarities between the animal and the people's characters are drawn to make it more educational. And then quiz takers are encouraged to share on social media their results and tell their friends to also take the quiz. And they are also pointed to the Love MacRitchie website for more information on the issue and the animals. The quiz will be launched on social media and sent to opinion leaders in August, timed with National Day, in hopes that spirits of patriotism will propel more people to share and play the quiz. Second tactic is a partnership with NUS Resonance, who will form a 6-people group called the MacRitchie Songbirds. So the Songbirds will perform a cover of the Love MacRitchie music video song over 2 weeks along Orchard Road in December in a sort of new age caroling style. They'll be dressed in snazzy costumes and then singing the song, and then volunteers will walk beside them holding signboards that will have like QR codes and the link to the YouTube video online, so that the public will go to the online video. So here's a short demo of how the songbirds will sound like. The final strategy of the campaign is to improve on current communication activities, which includes increasing the visibility of the show of support petition, as well as building consistent content pillars for social media platforms. So the first tactic is to garner more signatures for the petition, the petition should be readily available and conspicuously featured in the campaign. So to do so, we propose to show a visual representation of the petition in the form of a progress meter. The meter shows the campaign's aim of achieving 10,000 signatures eventually and where it currently stands. The progress meter will be positioned on the home page of the website as well as regularly featured on Facebook and the Twitter feed to appeal to fans and followers for support. And then the last tactic of the campaign is to build consistent content pillars for the campaign's Facebook and Twitter feed. Content pillars are basically broad topics that will help to enable an efficient and process-driven way to cover all the campaign's content bases in a consistent manner. So these are the 5 content pillars that we're proposing. Firstly, the native biodiversity education pillar covers interesting facts about our local biodiversity. The engagement pillar covers any interactivity with the public. The related environment news pillar covers any interesting articles that discusses about the campaign and the issue. The events pillar covers publicity about upcoming events as well as post-event comments and thoughts. And then lastly, the campaign key messages pillar covers any campaign messages and appeals for support. So these content pillars will be utilized to create editorial calendars, which will ensure that all content bases are consistently covered on the social media feeds. So you can see from the calendar here, for example, Mondays to Thursdays, there's 1 scheduled post per day, and then each day is from a different content pillar. So all these will be consistently created throughout the month. And then moving on is the proposed timeline for the execution of the campaign tactics. The campaign will kick off in August with the media forest walks as well as the personality quiz, while development for the app will begin with the school semester. In September, the roving forest exhibitions will begin with NUS as the first stop, and then this will continue all the way to the end of the campaign. And then in between, the MacRitchie songbirds will do their magic in December to create more hype and buzz. Then by February, the app will be launched and heavily publicized, especially at the remaining roving forest exhibitions. And then the entire campaign will end off in June 2015, after the very last roving forest exhibition. Moving on, next on the agenda is the campaign budget. To cut costs, we endeavour to reuse as much resources as possible, and then we also seek partnerships and collaborations, as well as utilize Polycat's existing pool of human resources, which is their volunteers. So the bulk of the campaign budget will be spent on the roving forest exhibition, especially on the building of the immersive forest. To save on costs, we propose in the budget to gather the supplies from online sources instead of event companies. The Love MacRitchie app will not cost any money, as it will be coded and programmed by students ideally. And then since it is a free app, there is no charge for launching the app on the App Store. Then the costumes of the MacRitchie songbirds will incur quite a bit of cost. To save on that, we also propose in the budget to get the supplies from online sources. The rest of the campaign budget is spent mainly on the software to develop and host the personality quiz as well as other miscellaneous items. So the eventual budget comes up to $1,112.70. Yeah, well within the proposed budget. Yeah. Moving on, lastly, we have the campaign evaluation, which will be conducted at the end of June 2015 to assess the campaign's effectiveness in achieving its objectives. So these are some of the metrics that we will be using. A full list can be found in the plan book that will be sent to you shortly. A post-campaign survey will be disseminated to the target audience, which will measure the change in the levels of awareness and attitude about the campaign and the issue. And then audience exposure and participation will be measured by looking at metrics such as the listenership for the roving forest exhibition, the amount of app downloads, and as well as the amount of personality quiz plays. Media coverage will also be looked at, but we'll be assessing and tracking the number of media attendees at our events, as well as the total number of media placements. The coverage will be analysed to determine how the campaign was perceived by the media and what kind of attitudes they have been propagating to the target audience. Then social media tracking will be also conducted to track metrics such as Facebook likes and shares, as well as overall positive mentions. And then these online sentiments will also be analysed through social media listening to track and evaluate attitudes as well. And then lastly, the number of signatures, of course, will be garnered by the campaign, will be tracked to measure the success of our eventual and ultimate objective to garner 10,000 signatures. And with that, we've come to the end of our presentation. Thank you for your attention, and any questions you can ask.
It's really quite nice. But we have more money than 1,000. A bit more. I didn't.
You said 1,000 to 2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're aware that you're volunteer group, so we'll try to.
Okay, well that's really great. Thank you very much. So wanted to say for the knowledge section, right? Is there a typo, like natural spaces lost due to urban development can be replaced, and 84 said they cannot be replaced. So
Yeah.
they are very aware that.
So they're aware that it can't be replaced.
Okay.
Okay.
It's quite a high number. Yeah. Do you have anything to?
I just wanted to ask, like, you know the survey that you all conducted, right?
Yeah. It's just a precise.
More or less, yeah, your
146.
so where did these people come from?
From tertiary institutions
So
within the age range of 18 to 26.
so these are all like random people.
And some of them are working. They are working adults.
Do you have the
Send it to
quantification, or is it you just jumble up? So do you know exactly the percentage of people, say from NUS, from NTU?
Oh yeah, we asked, right?
What level of education we have then?
But not from the specific
I
institutions.
see, okay.
Because we also surveyed working adults.
So the roving exhibition, right? I'm actually a bit concerned because right now, once a week for 9 months, it seems like I don't think we have enough manpower for that actually. So
We
that's a
actually
big
we
concern.
double checked with Chloe though.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
said that you guys will be able to commit like certain number of volunteers as long as it's not too often.
Once a week is
What's a big
yeah,
square?
once a week
extremely
is actually quite often.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's a quite good idea. We might incorporate it in festival burdens.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the food walk though, because it will encourage people to cook.
Yeah.
That was one concern. That's why
Delicious food.
when these media attendees actually come, right, I think we must tell them very clearly that do not encourage your readers to pluck from the funds.
Yeah.
Because we already have people taking like durians from the forest, mangoes, plants and stuff like that. So,
See, I think maybe a highlight of like forest products rather than specifically
or
yummy things.
products that depend on the forest for
Yeah.
availability and stuff like that. Question on your social media tracking. How would you determine certain analysis? Is there a sort of survey method that you would have, or is it just sort of just clicking through the shares and looking at what people say?
Sentiment analysis would be about getting content, what they say, the content. So what we do is normally we will have content tags. So we'll tag something like love MacRitchie, we'll search for things like love MacRitchie and things that say like support Singapore's biodiversity, and then we will search for stuff like that. And this can be done through applications like Hootsuite.
Okay, so Hootsuite mostly tracks Twitter, right?
Oh,
Facebook. Okay,
Oh.
that's good.
So it's more like content analysis.
Yeah.
So we don't really look at like shares and likes and all that. Because shares and likes doesn't really tell you very
Correct.
much.
Right.
It actually looks at what people talk about.
Okay.
Is there a reason for your color palette for the campaign?
Green.
No, not that, but that particular Shabby or all the posters, or is there a particular reason why you
We
choose?
just wanted to stick to the colours was green.
Yeah.
So like mint green, light green, because it's kind of forest.
Okay.
Sorry, your Pokédex thing, right? how comprehensive do you intend for it to be? Like how many species, for example?
Actually, on the website itself, there already is a list of species that can be found.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
very,
quite-
it's a very
it's already
condensed
quite-
list actually.
Oh.
Street. Oh, you mean the profiles or the full list?
The full list.
That's a huge list. That's a very long list. I mean, if you let
But
students
students can do that.
to ingest all the data, that is, I would say, very difficult because we don't even have information on some of those species. Well, we know they exist, but we have no data on them, or we have no idea what their biology is. Which is kind of stuff.
So what is actually CS 3201 and 3202? What
It's
about
called
you?
software engineering project. So in the first half of the term, they will study like the theory behind coding applications, and then second part they will do the actual coding. So we are looking to maybe we can work with them so that we can do it like for a module like our class.
But do they take on external projects like ours? Or do they mostly do
They
in-house?
work with clients.
Oh, great.
Alternatively, there is another project by computing. It's called Orbital. It's a summer program. So what they will do is like computing students will take on the coding of a mobile app during the holidays, and they do it for modular credits.
Okay.
So it correlates with our app.
It's during special term,
Yeah, special term.
just in time for us, right?
Yeah.
Actually, this semester's one is really over, so you have to look for the next session.
It's quite impressive
Yeah,
already.
very
Quite really
nice.
nice.
Yeah. The logo is very well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like the
Very
logo
good.
very much. We like the, actually I like your, what's that, your slogan. The slogan was nice.
Mm.
The key message is nice.
You totally remember.
Because we had so many different things, right? No, because Chloe and I sat down and we said that we like this feeling. Sorry? But it's very nice logo because I've not seen it before. We've not seen it, so I think it's really really nice. So I think just the roving exhibition we have to deal with the logistics. Because in fact, well, I'm going to the FOB meeting tonight, the Festival of Biodiversity. So I can speak with MParks and see if it can be done.
They will want
On
to
their
avoid
line.
the political.
No, it's just a terrestrial thing. So
Yeah.
basically, we don't want it to be. The really nice thing about this roving exhibition is that it can be disassociated from any particular campaign. It's just education. So it will tie in quite nicely with habitats and terrestrial habitat education. So maybe I'll ask MParks if they're willing to sponsor it. That'll cut our costs even further.
The numbers are just suggestions, so
Mm.
it depends on your manpower availability. You can do 30, if you not, you can do 15. It's really up to you. Once you have that structure,
Yes.
right, how much you want to
How much
use
you
it.
want to
And
use,
you can use
right.
it for other purposes besides just the show.
Yeah, that's really nice. And it's also supposed to be comfortable, right? You can fold it up and
Yeah.
carry it with you.
Okay, a general comment about the poster for your field guide. Hummingbirds not found in this part of the world, same for spider monkeys.
Oh yeah, we don't put in South Tail.
So no prehensile tails and no hummingbirds. That's just general comment. It's hummingbird.
And I like the MacRitchie songbirds. The idea. That was really nice. So did you manage to get your other friends who your YouTube to be on?
On the YouTube one, basically we asked and they didn't pan out because they charge quite high.
Or they charge a
Yeah,
lot?
they don't do free.
How much do
videos.
they charge?
She told me 6,000.
Wow.
But that was just like the rough, like that's what she usually charges for other deals. Like so she didn't really talk. I think because she didn't really factor in like this is like
good cause and all
NGO,
that.
good cause and everything. Like generally she charges 6K.
This is Muna
Marina Hersey.
Marina Hersey, right?
Hersey,
Okay.
yeah. So 6,000 per episode.
Wow.
I think it was 4 minutes.
For 4 minutes.
Wow.
That's a lot. Okay. So NUS Resonance is doing it. The MacRitchie songbirds are free.
Free, yeah.
Students too.
That's what happened.
Yeah, we definitely will take care of their welfare, but no honey water.
Honey water.
And I think I like the idea of the progress bar, progress meter, and the blossoming of the tree. So that's actually a very good visual.
Although I would say coding that would be a bit of a pain in the ass.
There's an alternative way to do it. Like if you don't want to code it, then you just update the
Photoshop and then you just put it like as an image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you reach a milestone, you update the
Yeah.
meter.